All right, guys, welcome to our Team Fearless family call tonight. I'm really excited to have my friend Kristin come on our call to share some really exciting things that she's been doing. But before I introduce her, I want to share a quick announcement, and that is that I am also going to be linking arms a little more. You guys have heard me talk about Team Engage and Greg Armfield, and I'm going to be helping run some calls with him and his team on Tuesday nights. It's leaders getting together four of us will be together doing almost like a radio show to talk about something and from different perspectives, and then open it up for questions at the second half of the night. So this is an awesome opportunity for our team to kind of lean in and learn a new style of leadership. This is not required. You need to make sure you're getting your vitals done, that you're doing your inviting and stuff. But if you have the time, this is going to be an amazing way to lean in with some other leaders and to grow. So I will be posting about that call probably tomorrow. So stay tuned and look for that. So as for today, my friend Kristin, I got to tell you a funny story. Well, first of all, Kristin had a baby. Were you pregnant at the same time that I was pregnant? Except for you were more newly pregnant and I was further along. And I knew that Kristin had gone through a time where she was really struggling with her team and with everything. You know my story with postpartum depression. Kristin struggled with some postpartum depression. And I knew this, but what I didn't know is that the last Super Saturday I had gone to, that Kristin had completely found her fire again, had gone from really struggling and from being a five-star diamond you're a 6-star diamond, to really struggling, losing momentum in her business, losing the money that she had in her business, and making less and just barely surviving, I think, you know. And what happened was I went to the Super Saturday, and she walked right past me, and I didn't even recognize her. And so she was like, what are you, like, you're not friends anymore? Like, what's up, girl? And when I realized, like, I did a double take, and when I saw her again, I was like, wait a minute, that's Kristin. She looked different. She looked happy. She looked energized. She looked on fire. She had lost her pregnancy weight. She looked absolutely amazing. So I had to ask her, what are you doing? I asked her at that point, I said, what are you doing to get your fire back? Because I was struggling with my team. I was in that same point. And so we got together for a few minutes and she gave me some tips. And I thought, you know what? Want to get her on a team call, because right now, summit's over. A lot of us are re-engaging, and I thought this is the time to have someone who's found their fire come back and share their story and give us some tips. So I'm going to mute myself for a second, and I'm going to hand it over to Kristin Richards. Thank you so much.
Yay! I love Michelle's energy. You guys are going to notice something about us is we're both really happy, excited people. We're big cheerleaders, we're big sapphire personalities, and Michelle and I have actually known each other since I think it was 2014, so many, many years. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak to your amazing tribe. I hope that you guys are ready, because I'm ready to give you my story, share my message, and I really appreciate lots of feedback and questions, because if you hear any parts that resonate to you, that maybe you need more of an understanding, or, oh my gosh, I can't believe how big he is right now. Sorry. I just had a moment. Yes, you can use the chat and I will happily get back to you on those. So let's dive in, guys. I hope you're ready. I am 32 years old from Fredericksburg, Virginia. I have 3 boys, ages 11, 7, and 20 months. So if you can do easy math in your head, I became a mother at 20 years old in my life. I've been with my husband for 13 years. I was a dropout college student. My junior year of college, I dropped out because I said, I need something now that's going to create stability in our life, that's going to give me flexible hours, so that I can help to provide for my child. So I abandoned ship from my bio degree. I was planning on becoming an anesthesiologist. I went into nursing. So I'm a registered nurse. I work in labor and delivery for 8 years. and I built a full-time business around a full-time job. Now, when I was putting together this call tonight, and the things that I really want you to take away from is that everything that you are doing now and have done in your life is a foundation and a skill. It's a skill set. For me, I learned a little bit earlier. I had to. I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a safety net. It was my husband and I, and we went from living off of ramen noodles to having our car almost repossessed on many times. We had to pick and choose which bill we were going to pay each month. When I share my story, a lot of times people don't know that side of me. They don't know that I'm come from a mom who gave up custody over me when I was 15 years old. They don't know the part of coming from abuse and trauma my entire life. And they don't know the part of me that has a fire of wanting to make my legacy stronger than what I came from. I made a decision that I was not going to be defined by my circumstances. And I don't want any of you listening right now to feel sorry or think of, oh, wow, she comes from this great, crazy background. That's what gave her success. That's not what gave me success. What gave me success was the decision. I had a fork in the road at many stages in my life, and they still have happened through my 20s. Was probably the most influential time of my life. But I had to decide which road I wanted to take. And so I decided to fight for my family. I went to school. I didn't get sleep. I worked as a server at night. I learned how to entertain people to earn money because that was the only skill I had that worked around my hours. I obtained my degree. I landed my dream job. Everybody wants to be a labor and delivery nurse, right? Yay, they do. They love it, right? Woo! I was so excited to become a labor and delivery nurse, but I didn't know the amount of stress that I was going to carry from nursing school. I sacrificed so much time away from my son that I struggled with myself as a mother. I blamed myself. I had a lot of guilt. And when I landed my job, I became pregnant with my second son. I gained 90 pounds. When you guys are thinking about emotional eating, I am an emotional eater when I'm pregnant. I cannot control myself. It's like almost like an identity crisis. I'm a labor and delivery nurse, yes, because I love taking care of moms and babies. I love caring for women and their spirits. I know that God designed me that way for a reason, but I absolutely hate pregnancy, and I hate the aftermath of pregnancy. I love my children. I'm appreciative. I'm grateful for the opportunity of being a vessel for them, but it is not my personal favorite phase of my life. However, what happens when we are not comfortable? That's where growth happens. So I learned a lot about myself in each pregnancy and each circumstance. The 90 pounds, I gained that. The stress, the compound effect happened. I didn't learn how to cope with my eating, my stress. And what happened? I was drinking a bottle of wine every single night. And my husband said, I think you're developing a problem. And I said, you're probably right. He was a Marine. I said, you know what? I've got to do something for me. I don't know where to start. What do I need to do? This was in 2011. There wasn't a community. There was Facebook, and trust me, I was on there. I Googled workout female plans. I didn't know how to work out. I didn't know how people went to the gym. That wasn't my thing. I never suffered from body image issues until after I had children. I didn't suffer from postpartum psychosis or depression until after children. I knew something was happening, conflicted in myself, that I needed to regulate my hormones. I needed to regulate the things happening. Remember that science background that I told you about? I knew what was happening in my body, and I knew the only way I was going to do that was to learn how to manage and cope with my stress. Drinking wine every night was a quick fix. Long term, it was developing an addiction that you and I could probably be having a completely different story now had I not made the decision to take control of my health. I was 24 years old with 2 children. I worked every Friday and Saturday night. I didn't sleep, and I worked 1 day shift a week. I did not see my children. I was stressed, and the negativity, I was attracted to drama. I was attracted to gossip. I was attracted to the distractions in my life that were not helping me to grow. So I went into a little cocoon. I asked my husband for help. I went to the gym. I didn't know what I was doing. I walked in there and it overwhelmed me to the point where I would sweat. I would have heart palpitations. And I would say, oh my gosh, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. Then I learned about clean eating. I didn't have anybody to teach me how to cook. I have amazing women in my family that could cook, but I never knew. When I tell you, I didn't know you mix dry ingredients with dry ingredients and wet ingredients with wet ingredients. I literally would look at a recipe, go down the list, dump everything in a bowl, and mix it up. And woo, surprise! Why did anything I make taste good? But I didn't give up. I planned every Sunday. I taught myself how to cook. I was overwhelmed. Remember that, woo, happy personality. Those types of personalities get very distracted. So telling them to do something or to have a new skill, you're like, what? I have to like cook? What do you mean? I have to teach myself a skill set. But I got feeling amazing. The energy was coming. I was sleeping better. I was taking control. I spent 2 years losing 90 pounds. That was the best transformation of my life. And when I realized that this could help more women, I was excited. I was pumped. I was like, yes, I'm going to save the world. Everyone's going to do this. I started getting my nursing unit involved. I started getting my community involved. I wanted to get out there and I wanted to make an impact. I just didn't know how. I didn't know about the opportunity that Beachbody presented to itself until after tragedy struck in my life again. Remember when I said, I come from this, I come from that over and over and over again? That same year, so January 2013, I was sitting in my living room getting ready to launch my blog. I had all of my meals prepped out. I was super excited.
In your bed, Teresa, I spanked you.
I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that there was a fire in my belly and something was speaking to me. I pulled out Insanity. I had the meal plan ready to go. I was like, ooh, people at home can do this. They don't have to go to a gym. This is awesome. My husband got great results from this. Yes, I'm going to use Insanity. Again, I didn't know about the coaching opportunity. I was just going to use Insanity as an example because it was such a perfect plan. That same moment, I had a call that my grandfather had had a massive heart attack. And the time that it took for my brain to realize that my grandfather had had a massive heart attack, I realized that my 6-year-old son was with him. And I knew in that moment of my life that things were going to change drastically. Like, I fell to my knees. I knew that he was gone. I knew he was gone. I felt it. It was like this of everything right before my eyes. My grandfather raised me. My grandfather believed in me. He was my cheerleader. He pushed me. He told me that he didn't care if I got pregnant at 20 years old, that I was going to finish school. He told me that he didn't care what I had to do. He was going to support me. He helped raise my son. My son and him were like this. It was a very hard time in my marriage. There was a lot happening. My husband traveled. He was a Marine. He wasn't around. So our family was rooted to that. I didn't go on that trip because I felt working was more important in my life. I felt making money to support a lifestyle that I couldn't afford because I had been poor for so long, that I wanted to prove to people I was successful by buying this big house and buying these nice things, that I missed out on quality time. As a nurse, there was guilt. But as a mother, I didn't know how to reach my son. I thought I was protecting my son from everything, that he was getting this life, this happy, fluffy life. And I realized at 6 years old, he learned one of the greatest lessons that he will ever learn the rest of his life. And that is quality time with your family is worth more than anything else on this earth. There's no money. There's no surface value. There's nothing that is going to matter more than that time. that moment was a whirlwind for us. I went from being on top of the world to hating everything around me. I blamed God over and over again. The me, all me. It was so selfish. I went into a state of depression. I didn't leave my bed. I didn't even want to take my children to school. And people who knew me as a mother, my kids are my world. They're my center. They're my focus. I didn't want to work. I got 3 days off from my job. And I was told, because my grandfather wasn't an immediate family member, I was also told that if I changed my status at work, that I would be responsible for the $10,000 for my labor and delivery training, and that I wouldn't get that time back. They took everything I knew about my life and told me that I could not make any adjustments to that. We were stuck. I dumped all of our savings into buying a house. We had only lived in the house for 6 months. And by the way, my family took control and they always watched my children. Where I live, it's $1,100 for 2 children in daycare. Where were we going to come up with the funds to do that? Both of our cars broke down. We went into $25,000 worth of debt in a matter of 8 months, living off of credit cards. We worked so hard to get out of that life that we went right back to it in that instant moment. And that was the time that I realized I had not set myself up for success. That we were heading down a trail of nothing that was supposed to pan out the way it was supposed to. We were not set up. We were not smart, and we had to start over. Simple as that. We had to start over. In those months, I will spare you what I used for coping mechanisms, but I almost landed up in losing my job. I almost lost my marriage. I almost lost my children. I almost ended up being admitted to the hospital. I was so depressed that I wanted to wrap myself around a tree because I felt my worth meant more away from this earth than here. I thought my children would be better and happier without the miserable person that I was. It was such an awful place that it's really hard for me to even speak about it because it's not me. It wasn't me. It was trying to figure out what I needed. I was laying in bed and I saw a girl. She looked like me. She was blonde. She friend requested me. When I tell you how negative I was, this girl, when I saw that she was part of some pyramid scheme, I was like, hell no. I don't know who you are, but if you try to talk to me, it's going to be like, whoosh, whoosh. Like you couldn't even get to me. You could not even approach me without me coming from a place of defense and hurt because I was hurt. Miserable people. I heard it at Summit and it was like full circle moment for me and I can't remember who said it, but it said negative people are, or negative or threatening people are in a place of suffering, and that's so true. So she spoke to me though because she looked so happy and I was so miserable. And I said, okay, let me just follow her. I'll follow her. She never reached out to me. She didn't do anything. There was one flyer that popped on my screen from her. I accepted her friend request because I realized that we had one mutual friend. It was a guy that I grew up with in Caroline County. He was a really good friend of me. His sister he's married to the sister of this blonde girl. Blonde girl, I accepted her friend request. Team Cup flyer popped up. It was smiling, happy faces. Just a Team Cup flyer. But she presented marriage, like couples happy. And I said, I would give anything to just be happy with my husband again. And so I messaged her. I said, what do you do? And she shared what she did. And the buzzwords of insanity, of superfood blends, of shakes, everything that once made me the happiest in my life, she did. And I knew in that moment, I said, I don't care. I want to sign up. I want to do it right now. I made the decision. I went Emerald in 3 days. I went Diamond in 25 days. I went Star Diamond in less than 6 months. I went premier my first year. I went elite my second year. I grew a 6-star diamond team around a full-time job. How does someone do that? Because when you come from a place of burning all other options and you know how much that this could save yourself in your life, I knew what my spirit needed, and I knew that transforming my life from the inside out was selfish of me not to share this with people, and I was excited. Now, I spent 2 years building a market. Remember I told you guys, 2 years losing 90 pounds. I shared it on Facebook. I was coaching people before I even knew I was being a coach. And I did it for free without expecting anything in return. So when the return came, I don't know how many of you are religious. I do speak a lot about God, so I apologize, whether it's God, energy, Buddha, crystals. I respect whatever your belief system is, but I knew in that moment, that first month that I signed up to be a coach, that same exact time, my first month, I made $1,100 to cover daycare. And when I saw the potential and I believed in myself, I didn't stop. Now, there came burnout. There came not having a skill set. But that was a validation of my grandfather, God, whoever, of reaching out to me. Things were going great, guys, right? Things were going great. Everything was happening. Everything was flowing the way it was. And like Michelle said, how do you go from being that on top of your business to dropping again? Right before our Mexico trip, my baby brother disappeared in 2015. And so I lost my brother. And that was the pivotal moment in my life. I will never be the same. My grandfather was one thing. My brother, that is a whole different territory, because my brothers are my life. My children are my life. And missing that piece of him destroyed me. I still did the vital behaviors. I still showed up, but I grieved really hard. But my team is what got me through. Beachbody, as cliche as it sounds, Beachbody saved my life. The mission, the purpose, the tribe, it saved my life. I can't not be excited to talk to you about it, or tell you not to believe in yourself, or share these crazy, insane moments in the last 5 years without saying, I love it. I love what they've done for me. I love the counsel. Anybody that has been a part of my life in this has made an impact. Watching Michelle with her 5 million kids, like, how does she do that? I don't know, but it's a skill set I wanted to learn. I was complaining with 2 kids at a pregnancy, So then we went on the cruise, and I came back, and I found out I was pregnant. And that was, again, remember I told you about my pregnancies. It was a hard time. Still managed to hit Success Club. The only time I have not hit Success Club in my business was the month that I gave birth. So October 2013, and I think I have not missed Success Club 10. I think there's only been about five times that I've missed Success Club 10. I lead with my mission, and I lead with the people that I want to be around. I'm finding them, I'm seeking them. The rest of the people, they are blind to me. It's like they're out of sight, because I want the people that I was meant to serve in my corner. But when I became a mom for the 3rd time, the residual income from Beachbody allowed me to actually be a mother for the first time. I didn't have to stress about going to school. I didn't have to stress about going to work. I didn't have to stress about building a team, because I'd already done that. So I took a step back to be mom. And that journey was where I'm leading to now, to help you guys of how I went from being a success to getting struck again, to pregnancy, to the birth of my son with natural labor. It's horrible. To coming back and telling you how I started over. And I'm not saying how I started over. How did I how did I renovate? Not reinvent, renovate myself. So January, I wish I had a picture. I'll show you guys. I could probably pull one up. I gained 60 pounds with that pregnancy. Even though I worked out and I drank my superfoods, I was dying inside because I didn't realize that I didn't have the outlets of going out on the weekends with my friends. I wasn't able to do the things that I wanted to do. I was sick. I had an aversion to meat, so I became a vegetarian for 2 years. That was awful. I filled up on processed carbs because I was never, ever, ever satisfied. I was always hungry. And I went on a spiritual transformation, I guess you would say. I didn't have a choice. I looked at my life, I reflected, and I said, what needs to go and what needs to stay? Have you guys heard of a woman named Dani Johnson? Yeah, she's pretty amazing. My best friend, who is my success partner, she is somebody that I signed up because I needed to go Emerald, and I needed somebody to go with me to Summit. She is now a 3-star premier coach, and she has the largest Brazilian team down in Florida. Her name's Bianca O'Brien. If you ever want to follow her, she's insane crazy. She actually just snapped her leg and is in a cast, so she can't move. So she's going through her own little journey right now. But together we linked arms, and I just needed one person to believe in me. And when she saw me struggling, she lifted me up. She said, you've got to come down. You've got to go to this convention with me. Her name's Dani Johnson. I know she's going to help you. 6 weeks postpartum, I strapped the baby. I told the boys, I said, we're going to Disney World. How awesome is it that I, on maternity leave, got to take my kids to Disney World? That was a big moment for me. My husband got a vasectomy. We went to Disney World. We're like, bye. I strapped my son to me, and I went to her event. And that event is what propelled me. So if you want to take it into how we apply this to our business, Beachbody did not create the 4 vital behaviors, okay? They just give you a roadmap, and they try to make it simple. Personal development and personal growth. I had to go to somebody who spoke my language. I needed somebody who came from trauma, tragedy, who had nothing and had to rebuild herself. I needed somebody who struggled with her spiritual belief in God and grew a connection with God through her lessons. I needed somebody who her world was focused around her children and building a legacy and building everything that I just spoke of. This woman was at this event, and she gave me steps to changing my life. And the first one was forgiving myself and to not carry the guilt that I was suffering from my grandfather, from my brother, from my marriage. I had to let go of the guilt. And the second step was she told me to write on a piece of paper the person who has hurt me the most in my life. And it could be several people, but to the point where if I was not at a place where I would invite them into my home and let them sit at my table and eat dinner with me, then I wasn't at a place to forgive them. And I needed to hear that because that was blocking me from growing. There's lots of things inside of us deep down that we don't realize bother us every single day until we get to the root of it and we start forgiving and we start asking to let go of that. And once you do that, is the most liberating experience you will ever have in your entire life. I came back from that event. I did this war on debt. I wanted to help people see that they could start saving money. I started running free groups around helping people to save $100 a month. I started sharing my postpartum journey. At 6 weeks postpartum, I posted a picture of myself in a bikini with zero transformation. And I said, I'm going to get back into this bikini, guys. Watch me. Nobody believed me. I struggled to even hit Success Club after I had the baby. I struggled with my journey, but I just kept going over and over and over again. I remember vividly sitting in my garage this time last year, sweating, thinking, why is this weight not coming off? It was hard. It didn't melt off. Every struggle I shared along the way. I'm like, guys, I don't know about y'all, but Kirby's sister over here is struggling right now because I'm sweating in this garage and that scale is not moving. What's going on? Why wasn't it happening? What was going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I journaled it every single step of the way. November of last year, I was having severe allergic reactions. You can still kind of see my skin. I had severe eczema, allergies. I did the ultimate reset. 21 days. That was the first time ever as being a coach that I actually committed to something where I didn't cheat. And when I say cheat, yes, I could do 60 days of hammer and chisel, but I never went through the program without cheating off the program. I've never gone through a program without completing it to a T. I want you to ask yourself, have you ever gone through one of our programs and followed it to a T? And if it wasn't a great experience that first time, did you reassess and learn? Or did you make excuses and say, oh, well, that's just not going to work for me? Because that's what I did. I started attacking my ego over and over and over again. The ultimate reset changed my life. It was the first 21 days. I did this through Thanksgiving. I did this when people were laughing at me for posting my salad. I had to deal with my grandma being highly offended that I didn't eat any of her Thanksgiving dinner because I was on a cleanse. I had over and over and over people just saying, why were you doing that? Because I was smart and I knew that people were watching and that they had been watching. I hit Success Club 10 for the first time last year in December. December is always when I struggle and I barely hit Success Club. If you look at my recent reports, 10, that was the first year that I had come back. January, I have not hit under Success Club 30 since January of this year. From the reset, because I committed to a program. The next step that I did, I went to leadership in Vegas. I was invited. Being around leaders, being around people who get what you want, it empowers you on a new level. If you are here and you're surrounded by people who are here and they are constantly like, da, 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 and you're trying here, slowly you're going to fall down with them. But when you're with people like this that are like, hoo hoo, rah, rah, we're all crazy people that managed to fit this into our lives and we love it and we're passion driven, we're purpose driven, and you're like, yes, we're going to save the world together. That's what I needed. I needed to find a tribe again, and I needed to say, hey, my team was getting ready to quit and leave for keto and all these other companies that came out. I stood my ground. I had put a stake, and you guys heard my conviction on what this company did. So I said, you're either with me or you're against me. But I knew that these girls were struggling. And when I popped out an ultimate reset transformation, that got people's attention. The next step was campaigning around 80-Day Obsession. I went to Pittsburgh. I went to their Super Saturday. I always have gone to the DC one. I'm part of the DC Market Council, but I told Greg, who I love, I said, I've got to do this. I've got to be with my organization. I need this for marketing. I want to show people my comeback. By the way, the Super Saturday after I had Carter, I hosted. Did I host with you, Michelle? I can't remember. 6 weeks after having a baby, I was on stage. That was horrific. That was the most horrifying moment of my life. But I wanted to make a comeback, and I wanted to show the comparisons of last year to this January. Autumn came to that. I recognized my best friend who was a premier coach. That was her time as her year to shine. Even though it wasn't my year, I still had to look at who was in my downline who was shining. I had to recognize them and say that I may not be at a place of success, but I am behind them 100% and I'm going to support them. I was like the mom in the audience, like cheering her on. People thought I was crazy. I was so pumped and excited. 80-Day Obsession, she went through the test group. I said, I want results like you. What do I need to do? We linked arms with another good friend of ours. We opened up a challenge group. It was co-led. We agreed on Zoom calls. This group was so big, we had like 300 people in it, right? There was only probably 15, 20 people who actually finished the program in 80 days. That's a really long time. I said, I need to know who my champions are. Who's going in all with me on this? I said, okay, what's our game plan? Where are we struggling? We're all moms. We all work. We all have these things going. What are we doing? We woke up at 4:30 every single morning on Zoom, like we're doing right now. Every single morning. Those became my team calls. I let go of the coaching aspect, and I applied my coaching into something else. So I'm asking you, have you committed to a program? Have you gone through it without cheating? And did you know that unity helps for you to not feel isolated? You don't have to do this alone. So who are your people that can go all in with you? And what's going to be your game plan? Our game plan was waking up at 4:30 every single morning. 2 weeks in, it was really hard. Nap time was like 30-minute lunch breaks. It took time for our bodies to adjust, but we nailed the time nutrition. Our group had some of the most successful transformations because the girls did not want to let each other down. That built my team again, is they wanted to be there for one another. We had the Zooms, we would follow up. I started teaching them Instagram and how to share real quick. So they knocked out 2 vital behave, 3 almost. They would do, we have a hashtag for our unicorn juice. We use like unicorns, and we're all happy and excited because nobody in their right mind should be that happy and excited at 4:30 in the morning. So we talk about what sponsors us. We talked about all of us use the performance line, the pre-workout, the hydrate, the recover, the recharge. We talked about it in our stories. People started to see our transformations. Every phase, we would share publicly everybody's results. We started building trust within challengers and then also people who are coaches. They grew. I think we went from 3,000 to I think we're ranked 214 right now. From that one little group, I shouldn't say little, but do you see what I mean? It started with me. So when you think, how do I get my team, recharged, do anything like that? It doesn't come from them, it comes from you. So if you are thinking, what do I need to do? I need to have a really honest talk with myself. Do I need to get my mindset right? Okay, check. Do I need to get my spirit right? What's happening in my household, my marriage, my relationships? What am I lacking or seeking? What's going on with my kids? Work. Okay, and then your business. There's those 5 things. If you just write down and jot what's happening right now. I have an avatar right now of who the perfect diamond is. What does she look like? What has she overcome in her life? I do really well with people who come from struggle and who are not afraid of hard work and sacrifice. I don't do well with people who complain, and I don't do well with people who self-sabotage every single day by calling themselves fat, or you are not allowed to say that in front of me. If you come to me and you say, I'm so fat, I'm like, that's verbal abuse. I will not allow you to verbally abuse yourself. You are not allowed to do that in front of me. And so I do the same thing now with my coaches. If they're like, this just isn't working, I'm like, how are you doing with your meal prepping this week? Oh, I didn't have time to do that. Okay, what's going on? Are you PMSing? I ask questions like that. Because when you get a bunch of women, we have the Shark Week thing. You get a bunch of women together and they're all PMSing, the whole world is going to crash. You know what I mean? So nobody's going to get anything done. So you have to figure it out. When you have that kind of trust and that kind of relationship with your coaches, they are like my lifers. I went to Summit and I never realized these people I had never met. Some of them I had never met in person. They are so protective over me in so many ways, and it just blew my mind because I helped them find themselves through my story. I found really good people through this. Now we are adding the next layer, which is we went from having people who were starting to recruit, and when I say recruit, we all shared the same, not the same thing, but the same concept. People would ask them questions. We were in a thread together. We would show people how to walk through a conversation, so start to finish. And then what happened is we moved our thread, our tiny little thread, and we moved it back into a team page. I shut my team page down. I did not relaunch my team page until this year. We started with a calendar and we committed. So the same way we committed to those 4:30 wake up calls, my team does not miss a national wake up call. National wake up calls are the most vital piece to you as somebody who wants to learn, especially outside of your organization, because you will never ever find one person who has all the answers. I am very close to Greg Arnfield. I'm close to Diesel Nation. I come from the Dream Team. I am like the grand coach of Melanie Mitro on her first CBC. I am close to so many different teams. Even talking to you guys, it's an honor because I asked Michelle, I was like, can we do a Q&A? Because I love learning from you all. I love learning what you're struggling from, and I love to see what is working and what's not. So, what are my takeaways for you to start game planning now? I want you to go back and I want to know what your story is. If I were to ask you what your story was in less than 30 seconds, which I could give you my story in less than 30 seconds, would you be able to do that for me? Would you be able to tell me not what Beachbody has done for your life, what this mission has done for your life? Would you be able to tell me what your team mission is? Who are the people on your team right now on this call? What are you guys for? What do you represent? My team represents women who want to find routine in the chaos. They are busy, but they want something more for their lives. They will pick quality over quantity. They thrive on intimacy, and they thrive on having a tribe. It's like a sisterhood, and we really run with that. If you look at my team, it's almost like Ruth's team, which she has my vision. It's so diverse. It's women from 20 to 50s. It's not just like all the blondes. It's not all, the Christian moms, just all like whatever. It's a variety of people, and it's people who come from circumstances that have helped to shape their life into a better light. And now they're ready to pay it forward. That's my team. We're like this. And it started with a challenge group. So now, how do we do that? How do we teach them how to lead? That's another call for another time. But they are ready to serve. They've checked off. Can you check off? Have I mastered my fitness? And if I haven't, do I talk about why I haven't mastered it? Do I talk about my nutrition? Do I meal prep? I told you guys I don't cook. I am very happy eating the same thing every single day. Some people not so much. If you follow my Instagram stories, you will see there are some pancakes I eat every single day. They are 2 eggs, spinach, oats, half a banana, cinnamon, stevia. Like probably, I would say about 200 people they think I invented this pancake. I didn't, but they know how much I love these pancakes, and now they love them. So it's the little stuff that I'm talking about. Like, you could be known for green pancakes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to share what's working for you. If you are a gourmet chef, you like to do the pretty stuff, put it out there. That's not my jam. I can't cook like that. I have never claimed to be an expert. But I will say, the way I manage a household with 3 boys and a husband who commutes over an hour and a half and do this and still keep my license active in the hospital, which, by the way, being at home and working a business is a lot harder than having a full-time job and working your business around it, okay? You stay-at-home moms, kudos to you, because I'm still trying to learn that, and that is overwhelming in itself. I could learn a lot if you have any tips. But sharing those experiences along the way have really helped to launch what's happening. So I hope that helps. Like I said, this is more of, I think, an inspiration call for you guys, just to get some thoughts running through your head. And if you have questions, I would love to answer them. As far as strategy and game planning, start with the 4 vital behaviors. I know you've heard that over and over again, but really just take it. And how can you get other people to do the vital behaviors with you? Because if you can do it for yourself and you can learn how to duplicate it, you will find success. And you don't need a fancy marketing plan. You don't need fancy applications. You just need people who believe in you, and it starts with belief in yourself. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. I love your story, and I love how you have got basically like a Rocky. You get back up every time you fall, and it's honestly, like you said, through the grace of God. Guys, what really got Kristin going was to start with one of the first vital behaviors, which is called being a product of the product. When we start to wonder why people aren't listening or why they don't seem to be interested in what we're doing, we have to show that it works. You know what I mean? We have to show that it works, and we have to believe that it works. As soon as I met with Kristin, was that before 80 Day started when I met? No, we'd already done 80 Day. You'd already done.
By the way, guys, she took me into a room and she shut the door. She's like, what are you doing?
That's right. So 80 Day, it wasn't over yet.
It wasn't over yet. It was almost over. Yeah.
It was almost over. But when I was losing, was really struggling, my team knows I considered quitting at several points this past year, burnout and tired and a lot of different things. But I dug in with the 80 Day Obsession, and I did it, the exercise part 100%. And that was the first hour 95%. Okay, if I'll be honest. But that's the first time. And guys, and I talked about that journey, and I started to have people ask me questions about what I was doing. When I had my final results photos, every single time that my business is taken off again or re-empowered is when I have a results photo to share. And I can say, I did this start to finish. When I first started this business, it was through Insanity. I did Insanity, and I did it for first day, just like Kristin said, which is really crazy. I posted my picture, which was super out of my comfort zone. I did a blog post. I showed my before picture. I said exactly how much I weighed. And I said, I'm starting a new program tomorrow. I had no intention of coaching. It was not. In fact, I told my coach, don't ever ask me to coach. But it was accountability. Mm-hmm. It was knowing that there was no way in heck I was letting anyone see me look like that and say I was going to start something and not see results. So, I don't know what it is, for you that helps you, but whatever is going to help you do that to re-engage and stay on track. But those transformation stories and that commitment, the product of a product, I think is like the most foundational of the 4 hours.
And they make it easy. Like, you can do a 3-day refresh. You'll have a transformation if you follow it to a T. It's taken me 5 refreshes to do it without cheating. Now, but that's what I'm saying. Now that you've done it, I went the 80 Day Obsession. When I tell you guys, I did not cheat. I didn't even have sugar in my coffee. I didn't have creamer. I didn't have alcohol. So I knew that I was prepped for that by just doing the reset. I was like, well, if I could do 21 days, I can do 80. And people were like, yeah, it's a whole different ballgame. I was like, watch me. But you can start small so you can feel success and get confidence. And you can talk about your experience. You guys can do 3 days. We have amazing products that will help you to do that. You can do 21 days. After you do 21 days, you can do 80 days. You can do the hard. It's just putting your mind in the right place. And what is bringing you joy out of doing this? My joy is to see women like Michelle who may be struggling with postpartum depression, and I talk about that a lot, or they're struggling with the baby weight. I wanted to be an example for my community and as a labor and delivery nurse that you can still nurse a baby and safely lose 1 to 3 pounds a week and do it and be happy. You can still love yourself during the process and find that. So you guys have so many opportunities, responsibilities to yourself and your business by having these resources readily available to you.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions for Kristin? Based off everything she shared, anyone?
I have a question.
Hi.
Hi, Kristin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I love your story. Thank you for sharing it.
Yes, thanks for being here.
So my question is basic. 4 vital behaviors. What are they? I'm writing them down.
Okay, let's do it, girl. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. What program are you committing to right now?
Are you asking me or am I writing that down?
I'm asking you.
Okay. Right now, I'm doing Clean Week this week.
Okay. Is this the first time you've ever done this?
No.
Okay. But Clean Week, you're committing to it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because my plan is to do Lift 4.
Okay.
But I have to wait until the 16th to get it. So I'm going to do Clean Week until then is my plan.
Okay. So number 1, your vital behavior is I am committing to Clean Week.
Okay.
How are you marketing your journey with a 7 days worth of experience? Are you talking about it face-to-face, or are you talking about it on social media?
Most on social media.
Okay. Right now, if I were to look at your Facebook, how many posts do you do a day?
Not consistent.
Okay.
So 1, maybe 2 a day.
So Clean Week, what I want you to do is I want you to post about your experience with the workout or the nutrition at least once a day. Can you do that?
Yep.
Okay. And then I want you to make a post about your lifestyle or something happening in your day. Trust me, I stay home now. I wear workout clothes all day. There's not much that's very interesting about me. I got to make this stuff up. Right now, we talk about the toddler chronicles because that's really all I have is feeding a toddler and hoping he doesn't get into something. What about your life right now is happening? Is there something really exciting coming up? Are you going through anything in your life that's like LifeCast, your reality TV show? What would I want to learn about you? By the way, my grandfather loved elephants, and elephants are huge in our house. So that like touches me right now. What about your life right now? Could you share openly? Are you somebody that likes motivational quotes? Like, what is it?
I love motivational quotes. I love my girls, my family. We homeschool, and we homeschool year round. So
There we go. Teach me. I want to know about a day in the life of a mom who homeschools. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but that's right there is a post. And it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be lengthy. It just needs to say, thank God. Or, like just something like gratitude. Pick a word of how it's going to impact others who need to see moms who homeschool, because there's a lot of them. Okay?
Yes.
So you have a fitness post or a nutrition post in the morning before they wake up. And then at nighttime, around, I would say 8 to 9, you're going to have a post, or during the day, whatever you want to be, but 2 posts a day minimum for 7 days. Okay?
Okay.
Your Shakeology, if you're drinking it, the performance line, all things that you can talk about as well. Talk about the recipes that you make for you and the girls. Talk about how you feel about influencing and impacting them through nutrition. That's the first vital behavior, is being proof of the product and sharing it. I think she froze. Did I freeze? Who's that?
No, I think she froze.
She back?
I don't know. You there, Jen?
Yeah, it froze. Like everybody froze all of a sudden.
The second vital behavior is, I don't know them in order, but I know what they are, is personal development. So what are you doing for yourself each day? This could be your devotionals. This could be something you're reading. This could be a podcast. This could be this call right now, which, Michelle, if you could pop a picture for me, because I need to post it.
Take a picture, Rick. Everybody smile. One more time. I didn't get your little hand. Okay, got it.
This is personal growth. This is sharing. This is paying it forward. You guys don't do anything for me, and I don't do anything for you except for join me in the sisterhood, because I want to help you and I want to see you succeed and soar. And that's the beauty of this company, is we really support one another. Tell me a book that you're reading right now, or tell me a struggle that you're going through right now.
I'm actually going through a couple books. One is Deep Conversion, Deep Prayer.
Ooh.
And another one is Girl, Wash Your Face.
Okay, perfect. So the next day or even during that day, the way that my coaches know I'm doing my personal development is I don't share the title. I share a piece of it, or I share my takeaway from it. And then people are like, what are you reading? I'm like, oh, girl, it's so good that you asked. Let me tell you about this. How are you? And these are people that on my Instagram now, they feel like they already know me because I talk to them like I'm talking to you guys. I'm very comfortable talking on camera because I do it all day. So it's the same thing. So talk about your takeaways from your book. That's your second vital behavior. You doing that, you were doing more for your business and moving it forward than you probably didn't even know, right? If you work full time, I listen to my personal development on the way to work. I would listen, and there was no music on the radio. It was going into work and coming out. Now I do my personal development during my 4:30 wake up calls during my workout. Right now I'm doing, where is this book? It's Creating Lasting Change. It's the 7 Master Steps from Tony Robbins. So this is my personal development right now because I'm growing as a leader and I need to learn from past, and this is my growth, and there's a workbook. But whenever you're doing these things, if you're not somebody that has time, I don't like reading because I fall asleep. I literally fall asleep when I read. I'm not a reader. I'm an energetic person. Don't put a book in front of me. I listen and then I write notes. So I have like notebooks and I'm just constantly like writing my takeaways. When I first started, I would literally read maybe 2 pages and take action. And then I'd be like, ooh, look at what I did. And so you're giving yourself high fives with personal development. That's the second vital behavior. The third one is inviting. Invite. I literally have heard invite that I don't even like saying invite anymore. I think of pay it forward. Because when you take the ego of I worry what people think about me, or I worry what people will say if I reach out to them, me, you're not paying it forward. So paying it forward, reaching out. Oh my gosh, girl, I love those family pictures. Where did you get that? And be genuine about it. People know when you're just trying to like build flimsy relationships with them when you're not. Build a relationship with them. I will go on my Instagram. I will find accounts of people that look like me, or maybe like if they're, I'll give an example. If they're flicking the camera off, they're not my people. Okay. Like there's just, people who are your people and who aren't. People, their spirit, their souls are through their eyes. You can tell how people are feeling just through their pictures. It's incredible. I'll go through, I'll like 5 pictures and I'll comment on 3. That takes me, I can do 50 of those in under 5 minutes. Usually I'm doing those when I'm going to the bathroom. I used to do this at work. That's why I got so quick at it. The only time I could be on my phone was at work. So I grew Instagram because 6 months into my business, I was blocked from Facebook. Facebook did me a favor by teaching me how to do it. Now I'll do the same thing on Facebook. I will do a call to action post, or I will do a post, and the next day I'll go through and see who likes my picture, and I'll reach out and I'll say, thank you so much for supporting my journey. I don't think you understand how much it means to me. I don't say anything else. And so like, girl, oh my gosh, I've been following you for years. I can't believe you've reached out to me. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, why would you think I wouldn't reach out to you? And they're like, because you have like 10,000 followers and blah, blah, blah. Somebody said this to me the other day, and I said, so do numbers define you? Because I'm a person and I'm reaching out and I want to know more about you. Tell me about your story. You know what I mean? Think of who you're doing. And then before I go to bed, any conversations that I have, there's an app called Asana you guys can use. I put my team calls, this call. I've trained myself not to be on my phone. That's why Michelle can attest to this. It's very hard to get a hold of me. It's so hard to get a hold of me because I'm not constantly on my phone. I've trained myself to get on, to do the intentional work, and to get off. So many of my coaches who used to say, oh, I don't have time to post this and this and that. I'm like, I can see when you look at my stories, you realize that. The minute I post a story, if you're looking at me and you're telling me you don't have time to post, you do have time. It's going in the wrong places. So being accountable to where your time's going, being intentional, is another big strategy behind building a business. The last one is recognizing. Every single day, recognize. I cannot tell you how often I was recognizing my challengers, my coaches. And I realized I wasn't even, there were some days I wasn't even recognizing my kids for their hard work. Like I wasn't recognizing my husband for things. And I realized that I needed to get into a habit of recognizing everybody. I recognize every single one of you for being on this call tonight, and I appreciate it because you are showing up for your business. And you are hearing from a stranger who probably, like, you have no idea if this is going to help you or not, but you're here committing your time, and that is commendable. And I want to recognize you for your efforts, because that shows to me that you want this and you're willing and you're coachable. So congratulations. That it means a lot, because there's a lot of people who are not on this call, or who maybe not be able to get on this call, and they'll have the recording and they won't do anything with it. There could be valuable pieces that could really help you push through. So recognize that. Recognize you can oh my gosh, you know what I started doing? I was recognizing people at the hospital. I started making like little awards for them. And my unit will even tell you, like, I am the biggest cheerleader now. I've really helped with customer scores. I've helped the volunteers. I go to work to get away from my house. It's now a hobby for me. I love it. I love that I get to go in and take care of women, and I don't have to be there if I don't want to be there. It's like amazing. It's incredible, and I love being their cheerleader. Get into the habit. Those 4 things every single day will transform your business. If you can commit to those for 7 days, I want to know, and I want you to report back to Michelle, 7 days of doing those 4 vital behaviors every single day. Let me know what it does for you, number 1, if you feel motivated. And then I want to know if it has helped you to open up where you're ready to add more goals, because you have to govern the small before you can govern the big, right? And any lesson you want to know about anything is all in the Bible, right? So I just wanted to put that out there, right? You got an amazing upline right there. Jesus is the best upline ever. You will learn everything you need to know about life lessons through that book.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kristin. That is awesome.
You're welcome. I hope that helps. Does anybody have any more? Sorry, I get on my woo! I can't hear you, Michelle.
You mean I have to unmute myself? Do you have a recorded Instagram training that with your team that you would mind sharing with us?
So I have like a 3-part series. One, I can actually update it. I don't have any, but the whole theme this month is Instagram. So we have one call scheduled on, let me see when it's scheduled. You guys are more than happy to hop on. I can give you like little brainstorming, but what I tell my coaches, go where you already are comfortable. If you already are on Facebook and you have friends and you're part of Facebook groups, start adding and growing there, because Instagram is time consuming, just like anything else. And until you can master the 4 vitals, you can't grow over there. You know what I mean? But if you want to hold yourself accountable and you want to do that, my coaches, the way I know that they are doing what they need to do is I look at their stories. So if you want to do that, I can help you with that as well. It's up to you, whatever you want. But I would give them options as to what the Instagram platform is going to do for them.
Yeah. No,
because that will help give better training.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. If you don't mind sharing your team call link, your recording with me, once they're done, when you do them, I would love that to share with the team. That'd be great, because that's something we've all been talking a lot about with Instagram.
Yeah, it's the Millennials Summit was really crazy for me, because I was like, why are there so many young people here? I felt actually kind of old. And I know that I'm not old, but I felt old. But the girls on my team, the younger ones, they crush Instagram. They are teaching me things I didn't even know. So that's why I'm getting these girls on a high, like an optimized training, because I was like, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do all this. I have calls too from Melanie Mitro. We have Jatana's call that she did on Instagram stories. It's really well. And also Shalene Johnson's husband, her son, Brock Johnson. He just did a call and it was amazing. I'm already using the steps and it's helping. So whatever you guys need, just let me know. Is it the basics? Is it Instagram stories? Is it strategizing on Instagram stories, the call to action? Is it growing a following? Like, if you guys could get really specific as to what you need or want, I can start giving you recorded calls now.
Yeah, I'll send you a message.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm going to set up an Instagram unit where people can just kind of pick and choose.
Yes. And that's what we have on our team page is we have a unit and they can go in and pick what they want and what they need. Instagram is really good for busy, and it's really great for sapphires. And then the emerald personalities, like Greg Arnfield, will tell you how annoying your pictures are and to please stop it. And I did. I listened to him. I was like, I got it. He was like, I don't know what the border is around your picture. Stop doing that. So I stopped doing it because I was like, he's right. I can't just speak to everyone. My entire market is mainly, it's growing mainly Latinas because I listen to a lot of Spanish music in my videos and I do a lot of dancing. So it's kind of crazy. Like when you become you and you share you every single day, it's so much more fun to work with people like you versus trying to force yourself into adapting to what they are. You know what I mean? Like
back to the you be you.
Yeah. And that National Wake Up Call today, by the way, guys, was amazing by Michelle Myers. I have got so many notes that I can't wait to go upstairs and tell my husband all about them today.
Awesome. That's awesome. Good. Well,
do you have any other questions? So Instagram training. Sorry, I got bit by something. Anyone else? Was there anything that I missed in the chat?
I don't think so. I don't think people really used the chat today.
That's okay. But, was this helpful?
Yes. Yes. No, I think it was really helpful, especially just to hear your story that you can always jump back. You can always jump back in. You can always get a fresh restart. And I think that that's important, you know.
Just don't quit. Do not quit. Do not quit, guys, because you got to think you have bought a piece of stock. And this business and where it's going is going to blow up. I already was told that during a time that I almost quit 2 times last year. But if I quit, I would be giving my entire team and my entire customer platform, which is over 3,000 emails just in MailChimp, I would be giving that all to my upline. And I am not going to hand over something that I put sweat, tears, and hard work into. I am fearless, I'm relentless, and I've gone through a lot, and I refuse to quit. But I am coachable, and I am able to learn. So another thing, if you guys could do me a huge favor, and I'll let you go, is if you could give me some constructive feedback, maybe some things that, you know, if you've heard other calls or whatever, I love feedback, and you're not going to hurt my feelings. So as much as I love hoo-hoo rah-rah, I need to grow as a leader, so please help me out. I would appreciate it. And please give me some, you know, suggestions, whatever, because I thrive off of that. Michelle, you're cracking up. I'm serious.
Yeah, because that's what I always tell people. Just tell me what you really think. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I just want to grow. Like, how can I grow if I don't know what you think?
I can't grow. I can't grow. I can't do these things. Like, I need your help. That's why I was like, can I please do a Q&A and assess your team and what they need? Because that helps me to help more people. You know what I mean? Like, we're all different stages, but I'm no better than you and you're no better than me. The only difference is time and mastering a skill set. That's it. Like the whole mixing ingredients, just so you guys know, I separate them all and I mix them separately and then I put them together. And I can cook now. Thanks, guys.
Well, listen, thank you for hopping on the call and being willing to share your time, which is so precious, and your expertise and experience with us. I will be sending you some messages because I would love to get some more info from you. But
yeah, and you can, if you do me a favor, if you throw everybody that's on the call, if they want, ask permission. if you guys want, we can do a chat thread real quick. And if you have any questions or anything specifically, I can send you resources, whatever you need. That way, because my inbox will get like crazy, but the group threads, I can label them and I can say like, you know, Michelle's awesome teen, live fearlessly, whatever. And then I can answer your questions. I'm more than happy to do that. That way it doesn't get lost and you don't think I'm ignoring you, because I'm not.
Awesome.
It's a strategy, by the way. That's a strategy. So bye, guys.
Thanks, girl. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later.